Hi everybody, my name's Louise Bell. I'm a health visitor and I'm going to do a short video about breastfeeding. If you do have any problems with breastfeeding, such as cracked nipples or anything that you're really struggling with, so if you're having any really bad pain in your breasts or you're feeling quite feverish, please contact your GP or your local health visitor for support. Okay, to start with, I'm going to talk about how you know that your baby is in the right position and making sure that you and your baby are both comfortable while you're breastfeeding. So this is my little newborn, Eric, very cute, and he's very baby-like because he has this little receding chin here, which all newborns have. The reason they have this chin is so that they are able to latch onto your breast. So this is your breast, and this is your areola, which is the dark part around there. When you are latching on, you need to make sure that the position of the baby is correct. So what we talk about is tummy to tummy. So when you have your baby, ensure that they are in a straight line across your body with their tummy touching your tummy. The last thing you want is to hold a baby like this and them having to move their mouth to the side, which isn't going to be comfortable for you or them. That's actually going to make your nipple really, really sore. So make sure they are in a straight line to get to your nipple. So when you're latching on, you have your baby and you have your nipple. The bottom part of your baby's lip needs to be tucked in just below the areola, which is again the dark part of the nipple. Place your hand just behind the baby's head and back and neck. I wouldn't advise pushing baby on, but you can guide the baby up to your nipple. Everything you read talks about a wide gate for the baby, which in an ideal world works perfectly, but we know that little babies often struggle with opening their mouths particularly wide. So when you know your baby is hungry, and I will cover cues for hunger in a moment, so when you know your baby is ready for a feed and is hungry, just a little bit of a wide mouth is fine, as long as you are getting that position and that attachment correct. Once baby's latched on, like so, you can try and relax, put some cushions around you. I wouldn't suggest putting the cushions around you before, because then you'll tend to move the baby to suit your cushions. So what you want to do is move your cushions to suit your baby's position. Get comfortable, sit back and just try and relax. In the very early stages of breastfeeding, so I'm talking about the first 3 weeks, you may have some pain while breastfeeding. Please ignore the people that tell you that it shouldn't be painful, because there is now evidence-based research that shows that a lot of women do experience discomfort and pain during those early days of breastfeeding. The key is to not let your nipples crack. If that happens, guys, that's a whole new video, because that will really, really scupper your breastfeeding journey. So I'm going to help you to understand how to not crack your nipples and understand the importance of that. So your nipple is very soft and you need to keep it that way. Firstly, invest in some nipple cream. It's so important. You can put it on before and after your baby feeds. There's lots of different types of nipple cream, so go and speak to your local pharmacist and they will give you some advice. The nipple needs to stay soft and supple so it cannot crack. If it gets dry or the sucking reflex and the friction creates soreness, just keep applying the cream. The pain that lots of women describe they are going through when they first start breastfeeding is a very painful toe curling pain. Lots of women will talk about this toe curling sensation, which is really uncomfortable when they first latch on their baby. This kind of pain should subside as the feed goes on, and as days go by this will get better and better, but it may take up to 3 weeks to fully disappear, but that's not to say that day by day it's not getting better as you go through. So here we are with baby, and what I'm looking for here is full cheeks. So looking at his cheeks, they shouldn't be concave, they should be nice and full, and listening for those sucks. So once the baby's latched on, their tongue does a lot of the work, and there'll be a sucking sound and a swallowing sound that you will start to be able to recognise and hear and know that actually you're doing well, you're getting it, and your baby's getting it too. Newborn babies can feed very frequently. Their tummies are about the size of your thumbnail, so they are filling up and unfilling at a very rapid rate. They just don't have capacity to hold very much, so they're needing to feed very frequently. Up to the first sort of 4 or 5 weeks of life, it's not going to be unusual for your baby to want to feed hourly. Some days maybe they'll go 2.5 hours, maybe 3. It's completely normal for your baby to want to feed that frequently, so please don't be put off or feel that you're not producing enough milk. Just let your baby lead you, just respond to your baby. In the very early days, if your baby is awake, that is your first cue that they need a feed. Babies of this age will only really sleep and eat. There's not much in between. They may have some minutes of being alert, but most of the time they are either eating or sleeping. So when they're awake, offer them the breast. Another cue that they might be hungry is they may just be chewing on their fist. They can also do something that we call rooting. So they kind of bob their head around, and that's them actually looking for your breast and saying, I want some food, show me your nipple, show me your breast. So that is the time to start offering food, and generally just being fractious. Crying is the last cue that we look for when they're hungry. That's their last kind of shout out to be fed. So if you can pick up on the other cues before they start crying, then that's fantastic. Please don't keep times or worry about lengths that your baby's feeding. Babies are all different, and every day their energy demands will be different too. So some days they might feel like having a 3-course meal, so they will be on your breast for quite some time. Some days it will just be a snack, and he will just be on and off the breast for most of the day. Just go with it, kind of try and find your inner hippie and chill, let them lead you. So another way that you will know that your baby is feeding and is having enough milk is having lots of wet and dirty nappies. So there should be about 6 heavy nappies a day in the early days, and about 4 dirty nappies approximately a day. And it all just goes towards letting you know as mum that they are feeding and that you are doing a great job of getting the milk into them. I think if you wanted to do hand expressing, what we do suggest is leaving it for about 6 to 8 weeks so that your baby is really established on the breast. It does take quite some time for your body and your baby to really get that established. So after that point, if you did want to express, you can either use a pump or you can hand express. Either is fine. If you're deciding to use your hand, what we advise is just making a C shape with your thumb and forefinger. You're not a cow, so you do not need to milk yourself. You just literally need to place the C around the top and bottom of the areola, the dark part of the nipple, and gently squeeze. The best time to do this is an hour and a half after you've just done a breastfeed. So an hour and a half is when the prolactin, which is the hormone that delivers the milk, is at its highest. So that is the best time to try and express. You may want to get in the bath or even in the shower just to help that flow, just to help you feel relaxed. A warm flannel across the top of your breasts is also very useful, just to help that flow. You can then either store that milk or put it in the freezer and use it a bit later. What I would say though is that our bodies work on a supply and demand process. So if you are expressing milk and not using it, your body will not know that you are not using it. So it will start producing the same amount of milk that was taken off the breast and was taken by the baby the next day. So you essentially could have double the breast milk from your breasts. So my advice is, if you are expressing, to try and use that milk within the 24 hours of one day. Otherwise you're going to become impacted, where your breasts will feel very full and sore and your body won't know what's going on. The body will start thinking it's needing to feed twins. With the supply and demand process, one of the really key points that mums struggle with is when the baby is sucking at your breast and you can feel that there is no milk let down. So when you start breastfeeding, after a while you'll get the sensation of the milk being let down, and it will just be one of those things that you know that sensation, and you know the milk's coming through, you can hear the baby swallow. There will be times when you are breastfeeding and that milk letdown will not happen and your baby will still be at your breast sucking. So you need to know that that is normal. Obviously babies are growing every day, which means they are needing more and more energy, i.e. calories, as they get bigger. The only way your body knows to make more milk is when the baby is sucking at the breast. It's like they're leaving a note out for the milkman. Tomorrow, I need more calories. Please make me 2 more pints of milk. So that's the equivalent. So when they are there at the breast, the milk's not coming, it's them typing out their letter to the milkman, i.e. your brain, to tell your brain, I need more milk tomorrow. Mums really struggle with this because they don't understand it. Once you understand it, you're fine and you can relax. But often mums feel that the baby isn't getting enough milk because the letdown hasn't come, so they feel that their bodies aren't producing enough milk. Very few medical conditions will prevent your body producing the right amount of milk for your baby. We're designed to breastfeed. Your body has got it covered. Trust in your body and try not to overthink too many things. As long as your baby's putting on weight and having lots of wet and dirty nappies, you really don't need to worry too much. If your baby's not settled between feeds, but you feel that the baby is having enough milk, your baby just might be cold, your baby might be just testing out its lung capacity, it might just need a cuddle or a bit of attention, or it might be too hot. So just think of other things that may be affecting your baby's mood, other than feeling like it is a direct result of any breastfeeding. You will get pressure from people who will tell you that bottle feeding is easier, you know how much your baby's had, you can monitor things much more closely. Please don't be put off, persevere. The benefits of breastfeeding are incredible, and they will also really help you bond with your baby. That's not to say that anybody bottle feeding will not also be able to bond with their baby, but it is a very nice feeling of closeness and relaxation when you are able to breastfeed. The body produces hormones that relax you when you're breastfeeding. So any mums out there who've already started to notice the feeling of zoning out a bit when you're breastfeeding, that's all completely normal, and just enjoy the ride, because that's a little reward for you for doing a breastfeed. I don't think I'm going to talk about anything else at the moment, because I think I've covered a lot of ground here. But if there are things in this video that you wanted me to talk about regarding breastfeeding, please put a comment in the comments below, and I will either do another video or contact you directly, whatever feels right for you guys. Keep going, you are doing a fantastic job. Breastfeeding gets easier and easier over time, and when mums stop breastfeeding, a lot of them say they actually miss it. It's the sensations and the closeness that you can have with your baby. Keep going with it, and there's loads of support out there. Yeah, lovely to chat to you guys, and I'll speak to you soon.